Hello, welcome to the BetHelper betting preview. The game we're going to be looking at now is the final group game in Group G. It's Switzerland versus Honduras. It's scheduled for Bloemfontein on Friday the 25th of June at 7:30 p.m. So the Chile-Spain game is actually kicking off at the same time. Having a look at the Asian markets, the handicap has changed. It was Switzerland minus a half. Now it's Switzerland minus one. So obviously it was Honduras plus a half. Now it's Honduras plus one. So that would indicate good support for Switzerland there to change the handicap. Um, since that handicap change, Switzerland have actually drifted a little bit, so we might see that handicap change back down again, but we'll have to see what happens in the next 24 hours. Have a look at the overs and unders market. It's the over 2.5, so they are expecting goals. It's shortened a little bit, and now it's been flat now for the last 24 hours, so we'll have to see if there's any progress over the next 24 hours. Have a look at the betting exchanges. Switzerland are flat at 1.54. Honduras are drifting slightly at 7.6. They are 7.8. They were at 7.6 earlier on in the week. The draw is also slightly drifted. It was at 4.3. Now it's at 4.4. And the over 2.5 goal market is flat at 2.1. So the unders are edging it slightly with the lower odds there. Having a look at the amount matched on Betfair, or the bet exchanges, it's currently only about 150,000 has been matched, so that's particularly low. Again, there's probably not that much interest in this game compared to others, but that will be a few million by the time kickoff. No surprise here that Switzerland have the lion's share of the bets matched. They've 93% of the total amount wagered. Honduras only make up 5% of that, and the draw only accounts for 2%, so not many people expecting anything but a Switzerland win in this one, especially since Switzerland are the only ones who have a chance of qualifying, so they need a victory, and preferably by a few goals. They definitely need to better Chile's 1-0 win over Honduras anyway earlier on in the week. Looking at the overs and unders, the over 2.5 goal market makes up 56% of the amount matched there. Again, there's not that much match at the moment, so it might be slightly skewed from now, so that will change by the time kickoff arrives. Having a look at the bookmakers, they've Switzerland shortening at 1.5. They were at 1.53 earlier on in the week. They've Honduras drifting. They're now at 7. They were at 6.5. And they also have the draw drifting at 4.2. That was at 4s earlier on in the week. They have the over 2.5 goal market flat at 2.05, so the unders slightly shading that in at the bookmakers. Having a look at form, Switzerland have pretty poor form. Despite beating Spain, that was actually their only win in their last 6 games. They've 1 draw and 4 losses, so not too much happening there for Switzerland. They obviously beat Spain 1-0, and they lost 1-0 to Chile a couple of days ago. Have a look at Honduras' recent record. They actually have 0 wins in the last 6 games. They've only 2 draws and 4 losses. They lost both their opening games. They lost to Spain 2-0, and they lost to Chile 1-0. They could have lost to Spain a lot more. They also could have lost to Chile a lot more. And they obviously haven't scored yet, which is a duck they'll be looking to break, I'd imagine. Looking at the head-to-head stats, there's been no meetings yet, so this will be the first encounter. Have a look at some streaks. Switzerland actually broke a World Cup record of going the longest time without conceding a goal. They went 9 hours and 18 minutes. That carries over from their 3 games in 2006, where they actually didn't concede a single goal, obviously, and they didn't concede against Spain at all, and they held it for a decent amount of time against Chile. Honduras actually have a record in the World Cup. It's actually the lowest shots on target, and they actually only have 1 shot on target. That came against Spain, so that's a particularly embarrassing stat. They will look to actually get a shot on target, and they will actually look to score, but you can't really see where it's going to come from. Sorensen's just after tipping onto his own bar here in the Japan-Denmark game, so sorry about that. Switzerland have only 5 goals in 8 World Cup games. in their last 8 World Cup games. Sorry, so not the most prolific of teams. They usually seem to set up their stall to be defensive. Um, this time they're going to need to score. They need to score at least 2 anyway to try and better Chile's record, and then hope that Chile don't get a result against Spain. Honduras have no win in their last 7 games. They're a particularly poor run of form. They failed to score in 6 of those. Obviously, they failed to score here in the World Cup so far in their 2 games. So hopefully they will hopefully they will score just for a bit of morale. Switzerland have failed scoring more than 2 in their last 7 games. They usually only just score the 1 and try and shut up shop, park the bus, so to speak. So them needing to score 2, we'll see how they cope with that. Having to open it up a bit more, they might leave themselves vulnerable to some shots from Honduras. Before Denmark or before Switzerland actually broke that record of not conceding in 9 hours, they actually failed to keep a single clean sheet in their 22 games in the World Cup before that. So it was a bit of it's more by fluke than design, really, that they managed to keep all those clean sheets. Have a look at the rankings for this one. Switzerland are the higher ranked side. They're 24th on the FIFA rankings, while they're 27th according to the ELO rankings. Honduras then are slightly lower and 38th in the FIFA rankings, while they're 35th in the ELO rankings. The referee for this one is Hector Baldassi. He's from Argentina. He's refed a couple of games so far in this World Cup. He refed the Serbia-Ghana game, which is pretty action-packed, really. He gave 6 yellows, 1 red and 1 penalty in that game. And then he also refed the Netherlands versus Japan game, which couldn't have been more opposite. It's only a single yellow card in that game, so yeah, looks like he could have been asleep for a lot of that. He's refed 99 international games. He's given 451 yellows, giving him an average of 4.56 yellows per game. He's given 39 red cards, giving him an average of 0.40 reds per game. He's given 25 penalties, which gives him an average of 0.26 penalties per game. So he's a bit higher on the reds, and he's about average for the penalties. Looking at the injuries, unfortunately for Switzerland, they look like they're going to be without Sebastian Frey, which is their main goal threat, and Philippe Senderos. Not 100% sure on the severity of Frey's injury, but if he is anyway half fit, they probably will risk him as they need some goals. For Honduras, they were without David Suazo, who is their only goal threat. He was missing for the first game as well. They played him against Chile, but he didn't really do much. People who watch Italian football will know him. He's at Inter, but he's been on loan since Mourinho's been there. They will also be without Cesar De Leon, one of their starting defenders. Having a look at the goals scored in qualification, Switzerland scored an average of 1.8 goals per game, while they conceded an average of 0.8 goals per game, so they need to up those stats and actually score 2 in this one. Looking at Honduras, they scored an average of 1.7 goals per game, while conceding an average of 1.1. The CONCACAF qualification isn't full of great teams, so they don't have a great record of scoring or defending. Have a look at the probabilities now. The computer probabilities give Switzerland a 68% chance of victory. Gives Honduras a 19% chance, while the draw comes in at 13%. Compare that then with the implied probabilities based on the bookmakers odds. Gives Switzerland 65% chance of victory, so that's pretty similar to the computer probabilities. Gives Honduras only a 13% chance of victory, so they're rank outsiders, while the draw is at 22%, so again we've seen that bookies like to keep odds a bit lower on the draw. So in terms of suggestions, probably we'll be looking at Switzerland on the Asian handicaps, depending on if the handicap changes or not. I'd also look for maybe the unders and overs market. Don't really have any confidence in Switzerland scoring, so I could flip between unders or overs. So check out twitter.com/BetHelper to find out which side I'll actually be taking, and leave any comments below.